Shraddhavan.
About Shraddhavan. Very good, very good. So in the last class we discussed about the motto of Amrita University, that is Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam.
Jnanam.
Yeah, right. So what is meant by Shraddha? We saw that. Shraddha is having a faith, having attachment or love towards whatever you are doing. A great sense of alertness, awareness about all the activities, that is called as Shraddha. And one who has Shraddha, he is known as Shraddhavan. And the one who is Shraddhavan, he gains knowledge. Labhate Jnanam. That means what? He gains knowledge. Yes, this is what we discussed in the previous class. And then before that, we were dwelling into the dense forest, we can say, of what about different topics, including why cultural education is needed, then what are the missing factors of modern education system, right? Our modern education system just focuses upon the worldly success, but there are rest of the things which are very much needed for us as the human beings to lead a successful life as such. All these points we were being discussing. And then we also saw how spirituality is the core of Indian culture, which differentiates us from the rest of the world. Because spirituality or adhyatma is born in India itself. To the level at which adhyatma or spirituality has come in India, that extent none of the other country has gone, right? So this point we discussed. Then we also talked about how we should adopt good from others. We do not say that all the things are good and everything is there in our own nation. It is not true. There may be some good things which we can adopt from the rest of the countries. We should have that habit with us that we adopt good from others, but we do not lose our own cultural roots. Whatever we have, we should be aware of it, and we should have the love for our traditions and the culture, right? And then only we will be able to stand with confidence in front of the world, right? So now, in this context only, we are moving forward. Uh, so after the Shraddha concept or the motto of the Amrita University, the second chapter talks about what prominent visitors say about our institution. Okay, there is a paragraph which deals about it. So I would ask you guys to read that paragraph, what the prominent scholars think about Amrita University, and come to the next class. I might ask you a few questions from that paragraph. Okay. Then the remaining two paragraphs talk about making a difference in using technology benefiting humanity. Now you are going to be the engineers, you are the technology people, and you have the great responsibility on your shoulders to benefit the humanity. Okay, so how we can inspire ourselves, being the Indian youth, to stand at par with the Western counterparts is a great thing to be dealt with. Yeah, so we need to think deeply about the research in which we have interest, and to what extent we can learn from the world class universities, and what all the things are there which we can gain from them to have a great research as such, and how science and spirituality can go hand in hand for the benefit of the humanity. All these things are being given in these two paragraphs. So please read all these things and come to the next class. We will discuss about this in the coming class. Okay. I might ask you a few questions from these points. So 2 pages are there maybe. Not even the 2 pages, a few paragraphs are there. Okay. So let me tell you the page numbers. Page number 7, 8 and 9. Okay. So someone created the WhatsApp link while in class only. Hemachandran did. Hemachandran, you do this always in the classes?
Ma'am, I created the thing and sent it to Hemacharan, ma'am, and asked him to post it here.
Okay, okay. So Anirudh, you could have waited now until the class gets finished.
Yes, ma'am. You were just doing the introduction, no? So I created it that time only, ma'am.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you, Hemcharan and Anirudh, for helping.
Ma'am, just see if I added you, ma'am, because I wasn't sure of your number, but I added a number.
Okay, after this class, I'll do it.
Yes, ma'am.
If you allow me to do it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So then let's go move ahead to the next chapter, that is meaning of college prayer. So don't worry, we are not leaving the points behind actually. I am just giving that part, that is 3 pages for you for reading. Okay, we will discuss about it, or I might ask you a few questions about it in the coming class. So be ready for it. Yeah. Now let us move forward to the third chapter, which deals with the meaning of the college prayer. So we do not have first class anytime, right? So during the first session, that is at 8:30 session, your teachers must be playing the college prayer for you. So now again, I'll share my screen and play the prayer, our college prayer, and one by one we will deal with the different prayers that we have. Okay, we have 5 prayers altogether. So let me share my screen. So which is the first stanza? Does anyone remember? No one? I'm not able to hear. Please repeat.
Ma'am, can you start it off for us, ma'am?
Asatoma Sadgamaya, is it that?
Asatoma Sadgamaya is the second one.
Mam Loka Samastha.
No.
Sahana Bhavatu.
Sahana Bhavatu is the first one. So let us see. Shri Guru Namaha. That's true. Yeah. Okay. Just confirm once whether it is audible.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्युषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति.
Okay, so this is the first prayer. So in all the prayers, all 5 prayers, there is a punchline which comes repeatedly. And which is that?
Om Shanti Shanti.
Gurupyo
Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hey, is the line repeated? So can anyone tell me why we say this word Shanti thrice? Do you know?
Triple peace.
Triple peace can be one of the reasons. Okay. Anything else?
Positive vibes.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Mhm.
like I think each Shanti, like it was for different levels, like one for the people around us, and then one I remember for ourselves one.
Okay. You are nearby to the answer, Anil. Very good.
Ma'am,
Sorry,
one is for the
Yeah.
ma'am, one is for the past, one is for the present, and one is for the future.
Okay, this is also a nice perspective. Sumukhi, good.
Ma'am, it is said so that our body and around us, everything we have to do it very peacefully.
Very
Our
good.
body remains peace.
Yes, Shailaja. So Shanti literally means peace, right? So this prayer is just for the peace. That's true. Okay,
Ma'am,
anybody else?
is this on a spiritual level?
Of course it is. So see, Anirudh, first of all, we cannot differentiate ourselves from spirituality. We and spirituality are the same only. So we cannot remove spirituality from our life and make it something separate. Okay, anyways, what is your opinion? is it just for the emphasis that we say it 3 times, or there are any reasons according to you? So you said beautiful answers actually. I am very much happy. It may be for the past, present and future. It is for the peace thrice, or Siddhartha said something, right? Vibes, positive vibes he said. Yeah. Okay. So basically we need to know that it is not just for the yes, Anirudh?
Yeah, ma'am. Could it be one is for us, like the physical body,
Hmm.
one is for the Atma,
Very good.
and
Yeah.
one more I don't know, ma'am. I couldn't.
So, yeah, quite nearby to the answer. Very good. So, in our traditions, we do not just believe that we are the body. So, beyond body, something is there. Atma is also there, no? In the Indian philosophy. So, yeah, that's true. So, this Shanti word is not just repeated for emphasis, but we need to understand some concept here from the philosophy. So I hope I might not bore you by taking the word philosophy. Generally, we feel that philosophy is something which is really boring, but it's not so. Let us try to understand this concept. Okay. So now here in Advaita Vedanta philosophy, there are different disturbances being told. Okay, now we are the human beings, so definitely some obstacles or some setbacks or difficulties are certainly going to be there in our lives, right? So in the Advaita Vedanta philosophy, these disturbances are categorized into three distinct categories. All right, and in Sanskrit, they are referred to as Adhidaivikam, Adhibhautikam, and Adhyatmikam. Okay, I repeat these words. First one is Adhidaivikam, second one is
What is
Adhibhautikam,
split into three?
and Adhyatmikam. Yes, Nikhil?
What is split into three?
The disturbances, Nikhil.
Okay.
Okay, whatever the disturbances may be. So it's quite natural that we are the human beings, we are affected by the disturbances, right? We are not the gods. So these disturbances are certainly going to be there in our lives, each of us, all the human beings, for all the human beings, it will be there. So all these disturbances are categorized into three types, that is Adhidaivikam, Adhibhautikam, and Adhyatmikam. Disturbances or distractions, Anirudh, what do you mean by, like, do you have any separate definition for both the words?
Adhyatmikam is spirituality.
No, I'm asking Anirudh, he wrote something in the chat box. He asked whether it is disturbances or distractions.
Ma'am, a disturbance can be anything that it doesn't. I mean, they are very similar, ma'am.
Yeah. Actually,
The
very
words.
similar. So first the distractions come actually, and then they disturb our mind, right? We can say like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So more or less both are the same. So it may be the restrictions or the disturbances which are there around us. Okay, now let us understand the meaning of these three words. So Adhidaivikam literally means the disturbances or the distractions. Let's take the word of Anirudh, which come from the God, literally. Okay. Now from the God meaning what? God can disturb us anytime. Is it possible? Yeah, it is possible because there are certain things which are not in our hands, they are not in our control, right? Like we may have some earthquakes, some volcanic eruptions, there may be some floods. Right now, the Kerala state is going through difficulties, right, of the flood. Then we have tsunamis, right? Such disturbances are there which are created by the Almighty, maybe. We do not have control over them. We cannot control them, right? So as we do not have control over these types of disturbances, we have to pray to Lord through this first word Shanti. So when we say first Shanti, we are praying that, oh God, may we be protected from these obstacles that are beyond our control. All right. Now the next one comes is Adhi Bhautikam. Now this word itself has a word Bhuta. Bhuta is not the ghosts. Bhuta means what? Have you heard about Pancha Mahabhutas?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Earth.
Yeah,
Air.
we have
Ma'am,
Panchama.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the earth, the sky, the
Fire.
wind, the five elements.
Water, fire.
Wind,
Exactly.
fire, water.
Water, earth.
Very good. Water and earth and wind and fire. Yes. So Adi Bhautikam, this word comes from this word Bhutam. So the living beings or anything that is there around us, that may be living beings or non-living beings also, anything that is surrounding us into these five elements, okay, they might create some disturbances for us. The disturbances that come from the world around us, they are called as adhibhautikam. So let me give some example. Okay, a simple example, maybe you are studying hard for your midsem examination maybe, and there are some noisy neighbors, yeah, who are disturbing you because they have some festival maybe, or they have some party at their home, and they have put a loudspeaker and they are just enjoying the parties. So this comes under what? The adhibhautikam, because they are a part of these five elements only, right? They come from these five elements only. So they are the bhutas actually. Maybe some barking dogs are there, some mosquitoes are there which might be troubling you, or if you are trying to concentrate upon some topic and your phone is ringing again and again. Maybe some friend is calling you, he or she wants to tell you something very much urgent, but you do not want to get distracted. There are some family arguments maybe, yeah, your siblings are shouting loudly, they want something from you and you are trying to concentrate. So anything may be there which is there around us, or we can say it as there is some snake bite for you, or uh, whichever living beings are there around us, they might create some disturbances for you, for your health, your physical health also, your mental health also, maybe sometimes, right? So when we say second Shanti, we do what? We pray to God that may we be protected from the people and the surroundings. But one difference is there between Adi Daivikam and Adi Bhautikam. What is the difference in it? One is in our control and the another one is not in our control. Which is in our control?
Adi Bhaktika.
Yes, Adi Bhautikam is in our control. The Adi Bhautika disturbances are in our control, because if your phone is ringing, right, you can just switch it off and keep aside. If the dogs are barking, you can just close the door and start concentrating upon your studies. If your neighbors are shouting loudly, you can tell them to keep quiet for some time maybe, or you can change your place, isn't it? So this Adi Bhautikam, the disturbances which are categorized into Adi Bhautikam, they are in our control. But still, with the second Shanti word, we pray to God that let we be protected from the people and our surroundings as such. So have you got it? Shall we proceed to the third one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The third one is Adhyatmikam. Now the Adhyatma, again the word comes. Adhyatma literally means what, you know? Something which is related to Atma. The word Atma is there in this word, Adhyatma, right? So the thing which deals with the Atma or the self is called as Adhyatma. Now how Adhyatma can be a disturbance as such? So Adhyatma is not the disturbance actually. Our Atma can be the disturbance sometimes. Atma means what? We ourselves can be the disturbance sometimes. The disturbances stemming from the self are known as the Adhyatmika disturbances. And they are the most powerful ones, because you can see Adi Daivikam also at certain level we can control. Like after a certain period of time, after this COVID pandemic, we are going to emerge again, right? Certainly we are going to gain back our strength. After some tsunami or after some volcanic eruption, people rise again from that. And Adibhautikam, of course, they are in our control. But Adhyatmika disturbance is the most powerful one, because the one who has control over himself or herself, he or she is the real powerful person or the strengthful person, we can say. Right? And therefore, the most important one, even if we are free from the outside disturbances, if the inner realm is not calm, what are we going to do? We will never know the peace, right? Even if the outer things are very much calm and cool, you can see your family members have created such an environment wherein you can study so well. Everything is quiet and so nice. But your inner self, your Atma, is not calm at all. Then how are we going to concentrate? It is not possible, isn't it? So, unless and until our inner realm is not calm, we will never know peace. We will never identify what is meant by peace. Okay, so once we have found the inner peace, no external force can ever disturb us. Actually, if you observe carefully, if Adhyatmika disturbance is not there, then these Adidaivika and Adibhautika disturbance won't disturb us at all. First of all, we have to gain control over ourself only, isn't it? So sometimes you are trying to concentrate upon something. Okay, we can say that there is a very difficult chapter which you are not able to understand, and you are trying to concentrate, but your own self is saying what? Oh, my friend's place has some great party. I need to attend it. What must he have prepared today? What food he must have prepared? What all things he must be planning for the party? These thoughts might come to yourself maybe. Unless and until you have the self-control over yourself, how are you going to get the peace to study as such? So not just this, I just gave you this example which was very much outer example I can see, but there are a lot more disturbances which may create obstacles in the path of our knowledge, right? So when we grow, like as human beings, as we are growing, there may be different types of disturbances for our mind, right? So first thing what we have to do is our mind should be very much calm. And what all things that can help us? We can take help of yoga. We can take help of meditation for this. Sometime in a day, we should sit quiet with ourselves. Maybe for 5 minutes or 10 minutes it may be, just to make our mind calm and cool, to get ready for the next endeavors that we have to face, right? So the third Shanti is for what? To pray the God, saying that please remove all the inner obstacles. So the Adidaivikam and Adibhautikam is about the outer obstacles, and Adhyatmika is the inner obstacle, the obstacle about the self. So the third Shanti is for to remove the inner obstacles as such. So with this punch line is covered. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. This is the real meaning of it. Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's good. So now let us move ahead to the first prayer itself. So we were talking about the first prayer, right? So the first prayer is Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu. So many a times I have seen people chanting this prayer while having lunch. Before having lunch, people say this prayer. But ideally speaking, this prayer is about the relation between whom between us, between the teacher and the students, between the guru and the disciple. So I'm not your guru actually, I'm just your teacher. Guru is a very big word actually, one who shows you the path of your life. So in our traditions, this prayer is between the relationship of a guru and his shishya, a teacher and his disciple. So what is this prayer saying? Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu. I have seen so many people saying Sahana bhavatu. It is not Sahana bhavatu. It is Sahana Vavatu. Okay, so it can be splitted as Saha Nau Avatu. Meaning what? It is being said here that may he protect both of us. He means who? The Almighty, the Lord. Protect both of us. May he nourish both of us. May we both acquire the capacity to do what? Sahaviryam karavavahai, meaning what? May we get the capacity, the capability to do the mighty things. Now, being the students and being the teachers, what are our responsibilities? To study, of course, to make ourselves busy in understanding the texts which we are having. And in those days, they used to study the scriptures. They used to try to understand the scriptures. So basically, may we both acquire the capacity to study and to understand the scriptures. May our study make us brilliant. This is very important. After the completion of a certain course, how we should be? We should never be feeling doubtful. We should never be feeling unconscious as such. We should never be feeling sad. After the completion of your process of gaining knowledge, you should definitely have that faith, have that confidence within yourselves. The study should make you brilliant, right? So this is being prayed here that may our study make us brilliant and may we not hate each other. This is very important, isn't it? So if Yogita ma'am is making us very much bored in class, that's why we hate her. If this thought is there, then how are we going to continue? It is not possible, right? So just kidding. So basically the thought is that we should not hate each other, right? The teachers and the students maybe, or this is applicable to all actually, whoever who are there around us. Ma vidvishavahai. Let us not hate each other. Let there be mutual respect, joy of giving and receiving, and the absence of negative thoughts. So therefore, this prayer is important for both the teacher and the student. Okay, so now let us go to the next one. I'll share the screen again to play the prayer.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay, so have you heard this prayer anytime before coming to Amrita?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, definitely. No? So
Yes, ma'am.
many places we hear this prayer. Asatoma Sadgamaya. Now, this prayer is taken from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So, Upanishad word you must have heard. We have 4 Vedas, right? In the same way, the sub parts of Vedas are Upanishads. The knowledge which is propagated through Vedas is being simplified and told in the Upanishads. So, this prayer is taken from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And the first prayer is taken from Kathopanishad. What is the saying? Asato ma sat gamaya. Ma means no. Or please do not make me go towards asat. Let me go towards sat. Lead me from untruth to truth. So the ultimate truth of life which is there, which is being told by our philosophy, lead my way towards that truth. Lead me from darkness to the light. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. See, all our festivals are also talking about the light. Light is very much important. The emphasis is very much given upon the light. Because of what? Light depicts what? It depicts the knowledge. Right? So, I don't remember if I told you before, the name of our nation is what? There is a very beautiful meaning of of our nation's name. What is it?
Ma'am, the land where people are learners.
Very good, Harsh. Yeah, I told you na in the previous class. Bharata means what? Bha is the light. And the Bharatiyas are the people who are always continuously engaged in gaining the knowledge. They are the seekers of knowledge. So a very great emphasis is given for the light. Therefore, all our festivals also, if you can see the festivals like Deepavali, they foster the importance of light, right? So this prayer also talks about the same. Tamaso ma, tamas is the darkness. Let me not go to the darkness. Let me go towards what? To the light. Lead me from death to immortality. This is very beautiful. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Let me lead from death to immortality. So in our traditions, we believe that we are beyond the body. We are not just the body. So if we ask ourselves who we are, and who are we? Are we the hands? Are we the eyes? Are we the nose? The sense organs? The mind? The buddhi or the intellect? Who we are? No, we are not that. We are beyond the body. Yes, Harsh, you wanted to say something.
Ma'am, it's said that body does not remain after somebody's dead. It's
Yeah,
just the soul which carries forward or that
that's true.
lives.
Yeah, very good. So in Bhagavad Gita also the same concept is being told that even if the body gets eliminated or it gets destroyed, the person is not died because the Atma is there, soul is there, right? So we are not the body actually. I am not limited to body. Rather, I am eternal, I am absolute, I am something which is very much blissful. I am the consciousness and I am that Atma. Okay, so this line also tells about the same. Mrityorma amritam gamaya. Amrita is what? Immortality. So all of us are in a way the immortals because our Atma is the same. All of us are having the same Atma and all of us are connected with that Atma, the self, right? And we are the immortals. So we should not think about the negativity anytime. This prayer is telling us to lead ourselves from the unfavorable things to the favorable things, from the doubt to the faith, from the hatred to the affection, maybe from the unconsciousness to the consciousness, from the lack of knowledge to the abundance of knowledge, right? From the death to the immortality. So in this way, Adi Shankaracharya also says, he has written a very beautiful stotra known as Atma Shatkam. If anytime you have gone through it, it starts like this: Mano Buddhya Hankara Chittani Naham. If you want, I can sometimes send you the voice recording of that stotra. That is very beautiful stotra. You can just play it in the morning. Uh, uh, if you get a very good recording of that stotra, you know. So what is he saying in that stotra? He says that I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, nor I am the ego or the five senses. Rather, I am beyond that. I am the self. I am the Atma. Right? So, in a way, we are never dead. We are the Amritas. Amritas meaning what? We are the immortals. So, this thought might definitely give us the strength to face all the obstacles in our lives. Right? So, with this, we will proceed to the next prayer. Let me share it.
ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Okay, now you are going to tell me the meaning of this. Sarvesham. I'll just give you a hint. Sarvesham means what? Of all the people around us. Yeah. So this prayer is for the wholeness and the completeness and the prosperity and the auspiciousness of the people around us, for all of us. Have you heard about this line? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this
Yes,
belief
ma'am.
is there. Yeah, that's true. So this belief is there in India that we do not think just about ourselves. In our traditions, it is not so that we just think about me, my family, and that's it. No, we are somehow related to the society which is there around us, and we have certain types of responsibilities for the society which is there around us, right? That sense of responsibility should always be there in our minds. The society has given something to us, and therefore it becomes our responsibility to give them back something. So this prayer is about the well-being of the whole society around us, not just about our own nation, not just about our own state maybe. It is the universal prayer. The third one and the fourth one also actually. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu is the next one, right? So both the prayers are talking about the universal well-being. What is it saying? Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. All the people, may they be living a peaceful life, a well life. Let all the people experience peace and tranquility, the Shanti. Let all the people experience the wholeness and the completeness, Purnam, right? And Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Mangala word means what? The auspiciousness, the prosperity, we can say it as. And the next one is Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Right? Again, this mantra is often recited in many rituals of our India. You must have heard this prayer many a times. So this is again praying for the welfare of all sentient beings. May that be the human beings or the other living beings also. We think about everyone, not just the human beings, but we have that sense of attachment towards the animals also around us. Again, to tell you, all our festivals also foster this thought in our mind that we have that sense of responsibility towards the animals also, which are there around us. All the plants again, not just the animals, but the plants also. Yeah, therefore we have that wider mindset. Our mind becomes more expansive. We are not just thinking about ourselves. It is not that I should just think about me and my family. Rather, I'm thinking about the whole universe, not just the human beings, but the animals and the plants too. Even about the non-living beings. Why just the living beings? We do the Ayudha Puja, right? Recently we did Ayudha Puja. The Ayudhas, the Shastras, or the weapons that we use, we pray to them also. They are the non-living beings. But that sense is being fostered in our tradition. See how rich our tradition is. So the most important aspect of these mantras is that the sages do not just pray for his own clan or his own dynasty or his own nation, but for the whole creation. Lokaha samastaha, all the people. Samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Right? And the final one, let me not play it again, okay, because we have a few minutes left. But the final one is Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Mudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevava Shishyate. Again, this prayer you must have heard many a times before joining Amrita also. So this is about the perfection. This prayer is about the perfection. Purnam. Purnam is what? The completeness, the wholeness, or the perfection. So many modern scientists and many modern mathematicians are also fascinated by this Vedic verse, that is Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Because through this prayer, we remember the ultimate truth every day. What is that ultimate truth? That everything is one and we are all one. That is the ultimate truth actually, right? Whatever we are seeing around us, that is not the truth. You are separate and me is a separate being. It is not true. Rather, all of us are the same beings. Yeah, and all of us make a complete one thing. The effect of creation, which is complete, and it is the cause of Brahman. So perfection alone remains forever. Purnameva avashishyate. The perfection alone remains forever, and rest of the things are not immortal. They are the mortal things. The Brahman alone remains forever. This is the thought beyond this prayer. So with this, we have completed all the 5 prayers. So tomorrow, when the prayer will be played in the first class, just recall the things which we discussed today and try to understand the meaning of the prayer. Okay. With this, I shall wind up the session. If you have any doubts or something to say, please go ahead.